Welcome to Break Limit Snow. Today, we have a captivating and enlightening story that will keep you engaged from start to finish. It's a tale of challenges, heartache, and the pursuit of justice. So, without further ado, let's dive into this gripping narrative. I can't believe it's happening to me. My wife, who's 48, and I have been married for 14 years, but it feels like she's a stranger to me now. She got a promotion a few years back and started making more money, and I noticed she's been distant ever since. But when the quarantine came, she went through a sudden transformation. It was like a switch flipped, and she told me she couldn't handle being stuck at home. This lockdown forced us to confront the problems in our marriage, which we've always had but managed to ignore before. At the beginning, we were so compatible, but now it feels like we have nothing in common. I know we're not the only couple struggling to juggle work, kids, and life, but that doesn't make it any easier. Before the pandemic, we fought about everything, and she would always make it into a big deal. She suggested marriage counseling, and I reluctantly agreed, hoping to get back to how things used to be. But finding a counselor during the lockdown was impossible. So, I suggested we try talking things out ourselves. I'm not going to lie, it's been tough. Our problems caused me to shut down, and we started sleeping in separate rooms. We still have moments of closeness, but it's not enough. She's a great mom to our kids. But what about us? I'm determined to fix this, no matter what it takes. I want to feel that spark we had when we first got married. In June, I reached my breaking point. I had no clue why these drastic changes were happening, and it tore me up inside to see my family falling apart. Even though my kids are young, they can sense that something is wrong, and it's affecting their mood. I trusted my instincts that something else was going on, something worse than our already broken marriage. That's when I decided to do some detective work on my own. I noticed that my wife never lets go of her phone, always keeping it close and hidden from my view. She's constantly on it, ignoring me and the TV, waiting for the next text to come in. It's like she's in a trance, with the phone as her only focus. She even leaves the house, claiming she's bored, but I suspect she's going to meet someone. I've been on this forum long enough to recognize the signs of cheating, and being stuck at home has exposed how clueless I've been. I know something's not right, but I need to be sure. That's why I ordered a voice-activated recorder on Amazon and installed it in her car while she slept. After 2 days of waiting anxiously, I finally retrieved the voice-activated recorder from my wife's car. As I listened to the recording, my heart sank. My wife was the only one speaking, but she was clearly talking to a guy. They were discussing work, but they were also talking about how much they missed each other and how bored she was with our marriage. I could hear the excitement in her voice as she talked about meeting up with him. My worst fears were confirmed. My wife was having an affair. As I continued to listen, I heard them plan to meet at a hotel parking lot near our house. When she arrived at the meeting location, I could hear the car door close as she got out of her car. My mind was racing. Should I confront her now? Should I wait and gather more evidence? It was the hardest thing I have ever done, sitting there pretending like everything was okay while my heart was shattered into a million pieces. The thought of my wife cheating on me was unbearable. I had to act normal, even though my mind was racing and my stomach was in knots. Some people might wonder why I don't confront her immediately, but I know her too well. She's not the type to come clean easily, and she's extremely clever. She would deny everything, and it would turn into a huge fight. Without strong evidence, it would be difficult to get the closure I needed. That's why I took matters into my own hands. In addition to the voice-activated recorder, I also installed a GPS tracker in her car. With this tracker, I could monitor her every move through my phone. I knew it was extreme, but I needed to know the truth. 2 weeks later, in mid-June, COVID restrictions were easing in my area, and my wife and I had started going back to work. One evening, after we both came back from work, we had dinner and were watching TV. She was on her phone texting as usual when she suddenly said she was going for a late-night ride to clear her head. At first, I felt a mix of anger and relief when she said that. I had been waiting for this moment for the past 2 weeks because catching her red-handed had been on my mind constantly. I couldn't even concentrate at work because of it. I couldn't help but wonder how things went so bad in our marriage. Was it because she was making more money now? I knew I shouldn't blame myself for her cheating, but I couldn't help feeling that way. As soon as I heard her car leave the driveway, I turned off the TV and put the kids to bed. Then, I grabbed my phone and opened the tracking app. I saw that her car was in a parking lot close to our house. I assumed that they had booked a hotel room there, so I planned on camping in the hotel lobby to catch them when they came out. I couldn't believe how careless my wife was for choosing such a location for cheating, or was I so blind that she thought I wouldn't find out? Who goes for a ride in the middle of the night to clear their head anyway? She must think I'm a fool. Or maybe she took advantage of our rough patch and wanted some space. After about 20 minutes since she left, I got into my car and drove to the hotel. When I arrived, I saw only 5 cars in the parking lot. It was usually not a busy hotel, but it looked unusually quiet. I noticed that the lobby lights were off, so I realized that the hotel was still shut down. I parked my car at a distance from the others and noticed my wife's car parked in a secluded area of the lot. There was also an SUV parked next to her car. My heart started beating fast when I realized that they might be in either her car or his car. I wasn't sure if they had noticed me because of the way they parked, which gave them a view of any car entering the parking lot from the highway. The parking lot was dark and cold, quiet, and they were in a secluded area. I turned off my car and stared in their direction to see if I could make out whether they were still in the car. Since the hotel was closed, they must have been in either his or her car. The longer I stared, the more I realized that they weren't in the car because the driver and passenger sides were empty. By now, it had been almost 40 minutes since she left the house, and I knew she would be heading back.